Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, The Purpose-Driven Homestead. Today we're doing a video on the top 5 things most people ask about raising rabbits. Yes, these cute furry little devils on the screen right now. You know, if you're new to our channel, our goal is to help you learn how to grow and raise your own food in a small-scale backyard space. And if you're interested in growing your own food and you live in a subdivision or have a smaller yard, you really have to consider rabbits. They're a great stealth food source in addition to your garden. Now, it's a great time to remind you, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you can do it right in that bottom right-hand corner right there where the arrow is. But it helps us grow the channel and make more videos like this in the future. So let's get started. Now, one of the great things about rabbits is they're very small. They take very little space compared to things like cows or goats, and they're completely quiet. Now, we do have some chickens in our case for egg production, but rabbits have several great reasons why you should consider them for your homestead. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about today in our list of top 5s is, where do you keep these rabbits? Now, you can see here in our video, what we have here is a rabbit tractor. And it's pretty easy to see here. They spend all their time on pasture during the day. So they've been grazing in this space. And you can see over on the left side here, you know, this is some nice green clover that they've, you know, that's kind of the before. And then you can see the after in here after less than a day. So we typically move them around twice a day. It's a fantastic tool that you can use spring, summer, and fall. Now, it's important to note that we do have roofs on these rabbit tractors. You can see on these hinges with the doors, and a tarp that we put on top of that as well to protect them from the sun and allow air movement to come in, especially during the summer when there's, you know, a lot of heat there. Now, during the winter, however, we'll actually put them in these enclosures that we have here. You can see the food and some of the hay that's already laying out. But we'll put them in here to keep them protected, to keep them out of the weather, the cold snow and rain. So we'll put them in there. During the summer, if we have them in here, we actually have these 12 by 12 ceramic tiles. That gives them a place to, one, get off of the wire and kind of, you know, rest their feet a little bit. And also keeps them cool. They can lay there and it allows their body heat to dissipate if it's a hotter day. We replaced that with actual wood pieces during the winter to give them something warm to lay on. You kind of see the hay that we've got here laying off to the side. But the wire is important to allow their droppings to fall through so that can be cleaned up and they can stay in a sanitary space. Now, in the tractor, getting back here, you can actually put females together, and that's actually what you see here is we've got a couple of females together. You don't want to put your males together, however. They will fight, they'll create some problems, but those two are females. They do fine together. Now, our second question now, what do you feed these rabbits? And before I get too far, I want to make sure you see that we do have a link to a Subscribestar page for support. It's a lot like Patreon. So if you're looking to potentially support us, you want to help us out with our cause, help us to try to make more of these videos, check out that link in the description. Now, getting back to our rabbits here, what do they eat? You can see here they're eating these are actually some pieces of collards from our garden. They'll eat the grass. They'll kind of go through and pick out all the good stuff. You can see the mama here kind of hopping up. They're ready to be moved. This is actually after about 8 hours on pasture. This is now, we just moved them. I kind of flipped forward a little bit. I moved them over to a new spot. Now you can see all their grass. They're going crazy. They're loving life. Pasture is the best thing for your rabbits because it's all natural. It gets them lots of the healthy kind of stuff that their body needs anyway. Now I'm going to do a real quick cut here. This is clover. I'm going to show you some of the different things that you can feed your rabbits. But this is super rich. It's got dandelions mixed in. It's got all the things that you would probably think of as a weed in your normal garden. But rabbits love it. They're going to eat these white clover flowers like crazy. They'll go through and they'll pick through this stuff really, really rapidly and eat the clovers themselves, the clover heads, the flowers. They might leave some of the brown ones, but they'll go through this stuff like crazy and they love it. It's really got a sweet flavor to them, much like bees like it as well. Now you can see we actually have a small octagon, and you can see the outline that I'm pointing out there, but this is where we had them. We have a little kitty octagon that we used for our toddler years ago. And we actually repurposed it, and it works great for having the bunnies on pasture during the day. So you can see that edge line where they've picked through all of the clover. Here's actually a picture of it I cut into the video, but you can see them. You can look to just the right there and see where they've picked through the clover already, and I just moved it, and there's a little bit of new clover at the bottom that they're getting into now, but they really love it. Super simple, super low tech. You can actually find these a lot of times at Goodwill or other places and use those for your rabbits. And as long as you keep them in there for a little while, they won't dig out just all day. Now this is actually hay, so if you can't do the clover, you don't have something there available, hay is going to be your next choice. You can use either alfalfa hay or you can also use Timothy hay. Both of those are great. Don't use grass from your yard, however. Let me please say, do not use grass from your yard. It will actually, like if you've mowed it, it will actually start fermenting, and it can actually make your rabbits sick and they can die. So don't use grass clippings from your yard. Now, if you go to Tractor Supply or you go to a Rural King or Agri Supply or one of those places, you can get large bales of Timothy hay at a much, much, much cheaper price than you could get on, say, Amazon or one of those places. Now, so we've gone through clover, we've gone through hay. Next option that you may want to supplement with, especially during the winter, is these rabbit pellets. These are kind of an extruded rabbit pellet. It has a combination of all kinds of things, mainly grasses and just things that the rabbits would eat, but more in a compact form. And you can see here, this is the bag of one of them that we use. We actually alternate a little bit, whatever's on sale. We try to keep our rabbits on summer, spring, and fall eating natural sources, but especially during the winter, we won't often be able to do that exclusively. There's just not enough grass growing. The hay may or may not be enough that we can kind of get to, so we will supplement them with the feed as well. So again, you're going to go start to finish here. This is your number one option, is pasture. That's what they eat in the wild. Rabbits are used to eating that. Hay is your next best option. You can supplement with that. Then you finally have your feed here. Again, make sure if you're buying it in bulk, buy it from a place like Rural King or Tractor Supply in these big bags. If you go to Amazon and try to buy this stuff, it is going to be ridiculously expensive. They're very niche. They're really more for people who are going to have small at-home pets and they want to baby them and kind of pamper them. And I get that. That's fine. But that's not what we're doing on our homestead. All right, so getting back here to our tractor, you're going to want to put things in there for them to nibble on. They like the stems of the collards. They're going to eat a lot of the greenery in here as well. Even sticks or small pieces of blocks that you want to put in there. However, big caution here. Do not use treated wood. So if you're building a tractor, make sure you use untreated wood. You can see here that's what we used. It will decay faster, but rabbits love to nibble. They love to, their teeth continuously grow, as do their claws. So you want to give them something that if they start chewing on, it's not going to bother them. It's not going to hurt their teeth and not get poisoned by it, which there's a lot of bad stuff in the treated stuff, which is that treated wood it's a reason why it doesn't decay as fast, right? So here you can see after I moved them, I thought it would be fun to show you kind of the before and after. Again, this is like 8 hours of them eating and kind of foraging on this grass. This stuff will bounce right back. All of that fertilizer you can see in the droppings, you can see those quartiles, it'll bounce right back in a short period of time, but they really crush it and they do really well on it, and it's all free. This is free if you want to feed your rabbits on pasture. Now it takes a little bit of work. Now they love the clover, so if you get in a spot that has a little bit more or less clover, they'll pick through that first, but they really do love being on pasture. Now, we also supplement them. As you can see here, we actually grow kale and collards, and in this case, this is Swiss chard. But we grow these things in our greenhouse and in our garden. So during the winter, we'll grow it in our greenhouse. During the summer and spring, we grow it in our garden. And they love to eat Swiss chard. You don't want to give them too much of this stuff, though. It can give them a condition called bloat. So if they're eating too much of these high fiber types of food, it can actually create problems for them. So use it sparingly, give them as a supplement. You want to do the best you can by them, make sure they're getting all the right nutrients and they're having enough food to grow as they should. Now, if you live in a place that is cold, if you're, you've got the food taken care of now, the next thing is water. So we use these types of bottles that you can find. I'll actually put a link in the description for the water bottles. But they have these balls that are at the end of the metal strip. Now, if you live in a cold place like we do in the Midwest, these can freeze up as well as the bottle itself. So we learned a trick from another rabbitry that we had talked to. If you use those cheap Sterilite like sandwich containers that you can put, or you can get those from Walmart, or you can even get some of the old cheap ones that you get like takeout, which I've got a picture of here. Those can work as well, minus the lid. What you want to do is put the water in there twice a day is what we typically do. So we'll fill it up, let them get their fill of it. But here, when it gets so cold, it might be 5, 10 degrees. The rabbits themselves love it. These are great. These rabbits do great in the cold temperature, but they need water. And so those little containers you can flex, and the brick of water, if it freezes, will fall right out, and you can fill it right back up with now room temperature or slightly warm water. So it gives them some fresh water for a period of time. That works great during the winter, and we'll take these bottles out. Now, you may notice that your rabbits are drinking a lot less water than you expect when they're on pasture. That's actually really normal. They're getting so much moisture from the grass and the dandelions and the clover and things like that that are moisture rich. They may not drink as much as you're expecting. So don't worry, but do keep an eye on it just to confirm. Now, the next question we get all the time is, what breed do you recommend? Now, the breed we have here is called a silver fox breed. We actually prefer that for a variety of reasons. It works well for our climate, and that's one thing you need to make sure you keep track of, is how cold or hot it's going to be. These are actually well suited for a cold Midwest climate like we have. They also have a high dress-out weight, so that's great for what we're using for as a meat rabbit. Some people like New Zealand's or Californians, these white with the red eyes. I'll tell you, I don't like those because they always look possessed to me. I don't know what it is. I just can't handle them. So, but if you look at, this is one of our does. She's a very sweet rabbit. One of the cool parts about this particular breed, you can kind of see how dense the fur is. When you stroke the hair in one direction, kind of backwards, it will actually stay standing up until you stroke it back in the other direction. That's just a little trait about this particular type of rabbit, the silver fox. Now, I highly recommend the silver fox rabbits for cooler weather. They were actually developed in the Midwest, up in Cleveland, Ohio. So they grow in a thicker coat during the winter, and then they shed it during the spring. So they actually have an even denser coat during that portion of the year. Great rabbits for cold weather, but know your climate and know what type of rabbit was going to work best for you. These would not work in a tropical place. Now, question number 4 is, how difficult is it to breed rabbits? This is actually an area where rabbits significantly outperform chickens when it comes to small-scale backyard homesteading. Rabbits don't need incubators, they don't need egg rotations, they don't need loud roosters that you can't have in subdivisions or in small spaces. Rabbits are quiet. They do what they do. In general, the rabbits are fantastic mothers. They take care of their young, they're mammals, so it's all, they feed through milk for the longest period of time until they get to the point that they can actually eat grass. So you can see here, these little guys, the mother will take care of them for weeks and weeks, and there's really nothing that you need. You're going to provide the same food and water that you're going to do for the mother. Now, I wanted to show you a quick chart of exactly how much meat we're talking about. Somewhere between a low intensity and high intensity. For a trio, 3 rabbits, you can get somewhere between 224 and 448 pounds of production per year. That's almost as much as a small steer. And because rabbits are such great mothers typically, she's going to take whatever hay and straw and things like that you put in there, along with a nesting box. You do need a nesting box like you see here in the picture. But she'll take care of that, and she'll pull fur, and she'll keep them warm and make sure everything's taken care of. And they'll often have somewhere between 4 to up to 10 kits in a litter. So, there's a lot going on there, but you're not responsible for much of it. Now, question number 5 is, what is needed for dispatch and processing? So we know how this is going to end. It's a meat rabbit video, but the good news is it's really a simple process. Unlike chickens, which have to have scalding equipment and plucking equipment, all you really need is a tree with a couple of slip knots on rope to hang the rabbit from, and then a pellet gun is what our preferred method is for dispatching. I'm going to do a completely different video on that, and when I get it, I'm going to link it right here. but it's really straightforward. There's not any special equipment needed, far simpler than it is for chickens. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed the video today, and hopefully you've learned a little something about raising rabbits and maybe if this is the right thing for you in your homestead. We also would encourage you, if you've stuck around, maybe you're interested enough to check out our Subscribe Star page. It's in the description below. But if you'd like to support us, maybe get access to some star-only related posts and also to have some say in what videos we make next, consider contributing to our channel there. In the meantime, check out some of our other videos here, and we'll see you next time on the Purpose Driven Homestead.